for parents of these are methods that we want to move away from because we want long-lasting change. We want them to do less work in the long term. With something like spanking, you can get quick results, but you have to keep doing that same thing over and over again. It doesn't really long-term change the behavior. So we want them to get past these methods and learn more powerful solutions. The problem is that they're hard. It takes a lot of work, and that's one of the frustrations I've always had with parent management training is that I'll have families come in, we want to change this behavior, we want to do this, but then when you're sort of expecting this to be a daily work, that's where some people wind up falling away. They keep going back to those quick and easy methods of, I've got to address this right now, even though if that method doesn't lead to long-term solutions, it may lead to short-term solutions, which kind of work in the moment. We know small-term immediate rewards tend to be pretty powerful. So if I can yell at my child, he's not earning his reward. So now we can help the parents make the connection like, hey, look, when you're tucking in, it's actually working against you. The moment you feel like it's going to work, but it's actually backfiring on you. So we get some more data there. So to sort of summarize here, when we are doing psychoeducation, we want to orient parents towards the training. We want to get them on board. This is not about you've done something wrong. This is not about we're manipulating and bribing your child. What this is about is the environment has control over this behavior right now. We're taking that back. We're going to start controlling that behavior. We're going to start controlling the environment. You can start your functional behavioral assessment with an interview. Then we want to collect data, and you can have parents give you a data collection with like tally marks with time variables. You can also have them write a narrative. What we want is information. You've got to figure out what way am I going to get information. So if they're writing out a narrative, I want detail. Then you're going to turn it off for 24 hours. So you can kind of set that increased consequence there. Now, maybe that's not the way that you want to go, but you can still set another consequence. So, okay, here's the option here. You were given extra chores to do, yard work this weekend, so I need you to do it. You're refusing to do it. So here's what's going to happen. Once you complete the yard work, then you can still go out with your friends, but you will not be allowed to go out with your friends until you complete this punishment. So you've got to have something else that you can follow up with. And you want to make sure that at least if your backup is something that you can follow through with and something that elevates that punishment. So we don't want a punishment that is lower than it, and we want it to make sure that it can be lower as long as you still follow through with that behavior. So in other words, I can say, you need to do the yard work. If you don't get the yard work done by, we can see where a behavior plan can be helpful. Now the parent side was not helpful because they didn't follow through. It may have been helpful had they followed through with it, but ultimately what worked was changing this contingency where the consequence was going to be you were going to get left back if you didn't go to school. So case of a boy with separation anxiety disorder, 9 years old. He wouldn't go around the house by himself, and he would have frequent episodes of getting up each night. The antecedent was bedtime. Behavior was getting up, telling the parents, I'm scared, and then he would get comfort from the parents. So we had to deal, we had dealt with the skills to deal with anxiety. We had been practicing things. The parents understood the exposure therapy. They had practiced during the day, and he was doing better walking around the house during the day and had made advances. So we're at a place where the behavior plan made sense. This was not just